Oh man, hey guys, PTPOP here, and I'm leaving the rec center. I'm leaving the rec center for good. So today is June, I don't know what it is, 18th, something like that, 2025, and I come over to the rec center to go swimming. I get here at 8:30 in the morning, pronto, and the place is crawling with children again. I know it's summertime. I was a kid once. I love to swim, but they had a time at our pool where the adults would swim, and then there's a time for the kids to swim, and they would take a break for the kids, and the adults would get in the pool. So I get there today, put on my swimming trunks, the whole 9 yards, and I get out to the pool, and every single lane except for two, there's like 8 or 10 lanes, are occupied with little kids, little tiny kids, like 7, 8, 9, 10 to 12, maybe 7 to 14 years old. And they're doggy paddling back and forth. Now, this is not an Olympic size pool. It's probably 3/4 of an Olympic size or half an Olympic pool. So I get in the sauna, not the sauna, I'm sorry, I get in the hot tub. And I get out and I go up to one of the lifeguards. I go, hey, he's like this kid. He's a high school kid. And I know what it's like to be an awkward high school kid. I know how hard it is to talk to old men like me. But he's sitting up there in his little red jersey, looking bored, looking like his life could be better well spent playing video games at home or playing with his boogers. I said, hey, how long are they going to be in the pool? He goes, he was like, this, I'm not, he went, I don't know. Like, the guy was stoned. He probably was stoned. A 16-year-old stoner lifeguard. This pool has morbidly obese people guarding the pool. Let me say that again. They have morbidly obese people guarding as lifeguards. You're trying to tell me that this fat chick, who's 5'5" and weighs more, oh Jesus, now the road is closed down here. So I get back in the hot tub, and I get out, and I'm walking past the office, and I flag down this young kid who's one of the lifeguards, really nice guy. I say, how often are these kids in the pool? And he goes, oh, well, it's really hard to tell. We've got schedules posted here and there, but they're usually in here pretty much all day long. They're here. There's a group called like the Rugrats or something, and they're little kids and they're just learning to swim, and they're here in the morning, and then there's this group of kids in the afternoon. And I said, well, is there any chance of getting in here when there's no kids? He said, it's really hard. It's really hard. This is our busy time of year, and this is when a lot of the kids come in here and do their thing. And I'm like, all right. So I get out, that conversation, I go into the steam room, I do my little steam thing, and then I leave there, take a break for a couple minutes, sit in a chair outside next to the pool, and I go over to the sauna, and the sauna is, I can't see because it's a dark room, there's no lights in there, and I'm trying to see where there's a sit, and this guy goes, hey, could you close the door? And he's sitting there, and he's scrolling on his cell phone. He's scrolling. He's feverishly death scrolling. And I'm like, dude, okay. So I just, I didn't say anything. I just looked around for a second longer, and I walked out because there was no place to sit. Nobody was going to move to have me come in and sit. So I go up to the front desk and I say, hey, is there any rules? Don't you think there's kids everywhere? There's little children, not teenagers, little kids everywhere. Don't you think that there should be some type of restrictions of who can have cell phones out? There should be no phones allowed out on the pool or in the sauna at all, any way, shape, or form. And I said this to the lady at the desk, and she was just, a customer service clerk sitting at the front desk, about my age, a little older. She's like, sir, I'll have to take a look at the rules. You're right. I would think it's kind of weird that you don't have any restrictions on having the cell phones out. So, She looks it up, and there's no books or reading allowed in the sauna. You can't shave in the sauna, but there was nothing saying anything about cell phones. There's no restrictions at all in any way, shape, or form in this town at our rec center about having cell phones out in the pool where there's children everywhere. I'm confused by this because, oh, come on, Grandma, move your fucking old ass. I could have gotten in there if you had just discovered the gas pedal. There is this thing called the gas pedal that makes the car go. It's a beautiful little thing on the right side of your floorboard, you idiot. So, I say to the lady, you know, what we know, you know what kind of world we live in today. Don't you think you're opening yourself up for something bad to happen, like a lawsuit? Oh, well, I don't know, sir. I don't make the rules. I just work here, is basically what she said. So let me ask you this, guys. Don't you think it's kind of odd that we allow cell phones, at the very least, in the sauna? Like, there's enough perverts in this town that I live in, just that you can swing a cat and hit a pervert, hit a pedophile. Why would you allow cameras? So I talked to one of the lifeguards too. I talked to like the head lifeguard. She said, well, sir, if I got to restrict cell phones in this sauna, don't you think I have to walk around the pool and tell everyone to put their phones away? I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Keep in mind, I live in a town where the police station, if you drive past the police station in this town, there's at least 10 to 15 squad cars sitting in the parking lot. There's never any police out. You could roll a bowling ball down the street right now, the police have no idea I just did it. Unless some nosy Nelly reported me. Where are the police in this town? There's no police. People blow through the red lights. People are getting killed at the intersections every day here. I don't understand this town. Their codes, their cities and everything else are so archaic, it's sad. I mean, we had a neighbor down the street that had her 2 Doberman pinschers running loose in the street, chasing FedEx guys, Amazon guys, chasing me and my wife. And the town, I don't know what you call it, the city code, was written like 1890. I'm not even kidding. It was written when this is all farmland, and it says you can have animals running in your yard as long as they stay confined to your yard. And I told the police, these dogs aren't confined to the yard, they're running in the street. They're chasing the FedEx guy, the Amazon guy, and they're, well, sir, we didn't witness it. We'd have to see it to do anything about it. But as long as they stay and we come to the yard and we see that they're in the yard, that's all we can do about it. I said, well, I got video. And you know, they didn't care. They basically didn't want to be bothered by it. It's just so strange. If I was the manager of a pool, and it must be about money. They're probably afraid of losing memberships. Because if they tell people they can't bring their cell phones into the pool, you got to tell me this. Why do you need a cell phone in the pool? You don't need a cell phone in the sauna. You don't. You should keep them locked in your locker. So I get out of the pool, and kind of going back and forth, but I get out of the pool and I go into the locker room, and there's children in the men's locker room. Sign above the locker room says men. These are little children, little boys, and they're alone. There's no adults around. What the fuck? And every night in the news, all you hear about is child trafficking, look out, they're out to get your children, child trafficking, look out. So I canceled my membership. So I said, lady, I just want to cancel my membership. If I can't come here and swim when I want to swim, and I have to compete with 30 or 40 children, and they're here for a couple hours, and you can't tell me when adults can swim, then I just want out. She goes, well, sir, we don't refund memberships. I said, come on. You've got people being rude to me in the sauna. I can't even swim when I come here. There's hundreds of kids running around here. Let me out. So she calls the supervisor, and the supervisor agrees, but they say they'll write me a check. They're going to write me a check. This is 2025, my friends. I paid for this membership with a credit card. And I said, well, I've got a credit card on file. And I said, I'm sorry, sir, they don't do refunds electronically. They only do refunds with checks. We traditionally don't do refunds. But the city of Strongsville will send you a refund via check. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. And right now I got bigger fish to fry right now with an operation coming up and take my wife to the doctor and stuff. But this is what I'm talking about. So I guess they say I'm out of the membership. I said, can I get a receipt? And they said, well, it hasn't been processed yet. Your receipt will be your check. But what I'm saying is that this is what I'm talking about, is that people make life horrible. People do. Not the weather, not wild animals, not birds and bees and, daffodils, not snowstorms or hurricanes. People make life horrible. And I don't even know what the answer is anymore. But do you want some dirty old men walking around the pool with their cell phones out, pretending they're scrolling through their phone when they're really taking a picture of the lady sitting in the hot bathing suit in the sauna next to him? Do you really want some guy walking around with his cell phone when your kid's swimming in the pool in a skimpy little bathing suit? No, you wouldn't want that. If I was a father, I wouldn't want my kid anywhere near this place. So let me know what you think. I canceled my membership because I'm not going to use it. It's pointless. If I can't go swimming, I don't really lift weights. I've got weights at home I can lift, and I can do sit-ups at home. The rest of it's a waste of time. Everyone there is a cranky old bitch. Cranky old cotton top, and I'm turning into one of them, but I tell you, I don't want to hang out with them. So I got to go get some chores done, guys, before my phone overheats. And you guys have a good day. Bye.